circles all around.
Right.
But I see the leader in the middle, not at the top of a hierarchy. And this imagery of surrounding myself with all the best people, that to me that appeals to my visual image.
Yeah, from the couple of years that I've known you, you've always described that as a very important part of your role, surrounding yourself with great people.
The other phrase I like to use is talent management.
Right.
And that's, I think, what it boils down to as a leader, is to identify the talent and then manage it properly. Inspire, motivate, retain, all of those things. It's one thing to find great people and then if they leave,
What do you think makes people leave versus the ones that stay? What do you think are the key things?
I think it's oftentimes the immediate line manager that someone reports to that is the reason people choose to stay or to leave. In this marketplace, we hear a lot about people leaving for much higher increments. In our industry, people often do leave for 30, 40, 50% more money. But often when we exit interview people that are leaving, it isn't the compensation that they point to. It's other stuff. It's more of the human interaction and the fact they didn't respect their line manager, or they felt they were mistreated or not given the right opportunities. And so if we can avoid that by having strong managers and leaders who inspire and motivate their teams, then that loyalty, I think, is gonna win out. I'm not saying people will never leave for more money if it's a lot more, but I think there's a real value to being happy in an organization, and most people would take that even at a discount to their market value. Now, we strive to be fair and reward people at the market level, but on occasion other banks are willing to pay above market to hire top talent. But I'm always amazed how often that fails when people come chasing our people, offering a lot more, and our people say, no, I don't want to leave. I love Standard Chartered Bank. I want to stay here, even though I'm surrendering quite a large increment. That's quite humbling when I hear that, because they love the organization, and it's worth a lot of money to leave on the table to stay. Occasionally people do leave, and oftentimes they want to come back because they realize other organizations don't have the culture and the values and the friendships that we have among people. And I think that's another measure that I try and warn people. You know, if you're really serious to be leaving, talk to some of the other people that have left, because it's not always as attractive as you might think.
Well, that's very interesting, because the question is always, is there only one type of leadership? Because there are companies with totally different kinds of leaders. I mean, totally different from you. They've survived, they've thrived, they have great talents that stay with them. Is it a matter of chemistry that a leader finds a follower that has the same values, or do you think there's one common principle that all leadership must have?
Probably a mix of both. I think there are different leadership styles that work in different environments. We used to use, we don't use it as much nowadays, but we used to use the Strengths Finder tool, where our staff would go through the questionnaires and then be told, in your own assessment, these appear to be your top strengths and your lesser strengths. And I think the bank has used that information and said, for somebody like me who has a certain profile of strengths, I probably would succeed in some countries more likely than in other countries because of the culture in that country. And I think my own style and the strengths that StrengthsFinder identified to me were things like harmony and empathy. And I think in the Indonesian culture that is a good fit.
Right.
Indonesia doesn't strike me as a confrontational, adversarial kind of culture. And that's not my leadership style. So I think whoever probably matched me up with this opportunity, either intuitively or specifically, matched me and this country together. And it seems to have worked well. There are other cultures and other countries where probably my style wouldn't be as effective. And other leadership styles would be better fit. So I don't think there's one leadership style that is best. I think different people have different styles and they can be equally effective. On the other hand, I think there are a few common qualities that any strong leader has to have, no matter what other stuff is in there. You have to have integrity, you have to have loyalty, you have to have honesty, you have to have enthusiasm. All of those qualities, I think, are absolutely required in a leader. And then some of the other characteristics around it can be different degrees, but there are some core qualities that I think are non-negotiable for a strong leader.
Tell me something about how you view staying fit and healthy, because you're just all over into sports. Every time it's like he's running here, he's biking there. What does this have to do? Because in Indonesia, what we have is very great leaders, enthusiastic, fantastic vision, really poor health conditions. You know, and I'm struggling also getting enough steps in the day because we have a driver and we have all these time in the office compared to if I was living in a Western country where we walk everywhere. What role do you think staying fit and keeping your physical being healthy with regards to leadership?
I think it makes all the difference in the world for me. I've always had a healthy lifestyle from the beginning, so I can't really compare it and say I had this awakening so many years ago and all of a sudden got healthy, so I can't really compare it to a previous self. But I know that for me to have a life balance is essential, and I tend to find time first thing in the day, early in the morning, to either swim, bike, run, personal trainer, something every morning. And I know that I have no excuse for getting going early in the morning. I don't have any kind of conflict at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just a matter of doing it. If I wait till midday or after work, too many things emerge as excuses for me. So I've just gotten in that habit of every morning I do it. And I also then feel good all day long because I've done my exercise already. And that, that's one of the things I'm proud of in the day, and it's already finished. But it helps me to be more relaxed. I think it gives me more endurance and stamina when I'm traveling, and I don't get jet lag and that kind of stuff because I think my body's healthy to start with. And I think psychologically it just gives me balance. If all I was doing was sitting behind my desk 18 hours a day using my mind, but no physical fitness, that imbalance I think would have bad consequences for me. I wouldn't have the focus, the concentration. But if I have some balance of physical and mental, I know I'm a better performer. So I have the luxury of being in a role where I can be a role model. And so I've tried here and other countries I've been in to try and set an example. And if others want to follow that lifestyle to some degree, great. And I'm always really happy when one of my team says, I've started using the gym, or I bought a bike and I'm doing things because if you can do it, I can do it. And that is fantastic. We had an event just 2 weeks ago where 65 members of the bank rode all around Jakarta on bicycles on a Sunday morning, and we stopped at 9 different branches. But it was about 65 kilometers on a Sunday morning. And of my board of directors of 15, 7 directors were on the bike ride. And I was really proud of this team because these are the senior leaders in their late 40s, early 50s, and they were out there willing to ride around Jakarta. What an example that set for the younger talent in the bank. That if half the BOD is out there doing something for charity, because it was also an awareness for our Seeing is Believing initiative, I think that sets a great example. So physical fitness and wellness is very important.